Hello everyone, welcome back to Vyas Data Talks. As a software developer, code reviews are one of the most important parts of software development, but they can be really time consuming. Imagine how great it would be if you open a pull request and see detailed feedback on your code, even before another human looks at it. So in this video, I'll show you how I built an autonomous pull request review system for GitHub that uses any LLM model, be it Claude, Gemini, OpenAI, to analyze code changes, identify potential issues, suggest improvements, and provide instant feedback directly on your PRs. So for example, this is one of the test PRs that I had created. And you can see Gemini had reviewed the code and it has given the issues, what are the issues it found in the code, and it also provides with you the suggestions, how you can improve the quality of the code. So now let's look at how we can build the system. So let's start by creating a GitHub repository where we'll store our code files and make the changes to those code files and then create a pull request to merge it back into our branch. So yeah, so let's log in into GitHub. Once you log in, we'll create a new repository. On the left hand side, you can see the top repositories and there is the option of creating a new repository. Otherwise, at the profile, you can click and go to repositories and here click on the new. Yeah, so you'll be asked to provide a name. I'm just giving PR review demo. And you can also provide a description, repository, repo for storing files needed for PR review demo. Here under the configuration, you can choose whether the repository can be public or private, whether do you need a README file or other things. Yeah, once all those things are selected, just click on create repository. Yeah, so our repository PR review demo has been created. Now we'll clone this repository in our VS Code where we'll add the Python files and make those changes into them. So here, if you see here using this HTTPS location, you'll be able to clone the GitHub repository. So just copy this, whatever the link that is there, and open Visual Studio. Once you open Visual Studio, here you will have an option called Clone Git Repository. And once you click on that, you will be provided a place where you can enter that HTTPS location and just click on enter. Once you click on enter, you will be asked to the location where this files or repository needs to be saved. So I'm just saving it on desktop. I have a folder called demo and under that I have PR review demo. I'm just selecting that repository and you see it's cloning that GitHub repository. Yeah, so once that is done, it will ask, would you like to open a new repository, basically like in this session, or you want to open in a new window? Just click on open. So yeah, here you will see you are able to see PR review demo. Currently, we do not have any files. So now let's start adding files into our folder. So if you see currently on the bottom left, we can see main. So this is the default branch which GitHub creates. Okay, so under the PR review demo, let's add a file. Let's call it calculator.py. So basic calculator function where basically we'll have a function for addition, subtraction, multiplication, and divide. Yeah. So for example, I'm just defining a function definition add. It will take a comma b and it will return a comma b. Similarly, I'll have a function for subtract. Changing it to subtract, and I'll return a minus b. Next, similarly, I'll have it for multiply. I'll return a star b, and I'll have it for divide. And I'm returning a by b. So yeah. Next, we'll also have a operation calculate function, which will, based on the input that the user provides, it will do an addition, subtraction, multiplication, or divide. So for example, here it is taking a, b, and the operation as well. And if the operation is add, it will return add. It will call the add function. If it is subtract, it will call the those functions. Else, I'm just for now, I'm instead of raising an issue, I'll just add a print statement saying that unknown operation. print unknown operation. Next, I'll get the value. I'm typecasting it to float. For example, yeah, float input enter first name. Similarly, we will take it for B, and we'll also have an operation. Yeah, operation where basically input enter operation whether you want to add, subtract, multiply, or divide, and then results will calculate A comma B comma operation print result. So just fixing this issue, we have a different spelling here. So calculate, and we are also fixing the issue. So now we have the calculator.py file ready, which takes the user inputs, basically A comma B, two numbers, and also the operation, whether they want to add, subtract, multiply, divide. So here in this code, like we can see a couple of issues. For example, when the divide function is being called, we are just returning A comma B. For example, if the user enters B as 0, then it will raise an error, and we are currently not handling that value. And here, if none of the user gives something else apart from addition, subtraction, multiply, and divide, we are just printing unknown operation. We are also not raising any error, or we are not returning anything else. So these are the couple of issues. So when we raise a PR, our Claude, Gemini, or any OpenAI LLM that we are using should be able to identify this and give us suggestions saying that we should raise an error if the value of B is 0. If you are dividing by 0, we should return something else instead of having just a print statement here. So now this is our file that the calculator PY is ready. So for the PR, for the automatic review of the PRs to happen, we need to create a PR review.yaml file, which we can run it as a part of GitHub Actions. So for doing that, first let's create a folder called .github. Sorry, not underscore four. Yeah, we need to create a folder called .github. And under that GitHub folder, we have another folders basically where we can store all our workflows. Yeah. So we have a folder created .github workflows, and here we are just typing. For example, we are doing PR review, right? So I'll just give it as name as PR review.yaml file. So I've created this file prreview.yaml, and in this we need to have a code similar to this. So we'll try to understand how this YAML file works. So for example, at the name at the top we have the name. You can give anything. Basically, I'm using Gemini for this process, so I've give it as Gemini PR review, or you can just keep it as PR review based on anything is fine here. So the first set of statements is on pull request. Basically, we have mentioned types open or synchronize. So this open event triggers the review when a new PR is created. So this will run when a new PR is created, or it will synchronize as well. For example, if you have committed some new changes as well, so this PR review will work rerun on the new changes as well. So this ensures that the code changes gets reviewed automatically. So we are handling both the cases, open or synchronize. So next we are setting up the permissions, basically pull request write and contents equal to read. This workflow needs read access to the repository. Basically it needs read access so that it can analyze code changes. It also needs write access to the pull request so that it can post the comments directly on the PR. Without these permissions, the workflow would not be able to access the code or publish the feedback. Next, checking out the repository. Basically, we uses action checkout at v4 with fetch depth equal to 0. So what does this do is this step downloads the repository in the GitHub action runner. And setting it to and the fetch depth equal to 0 is important because it fetches the complete Git history. So all the commits that you have made, what are the different changes that you have made, it fetches everything. Without the full history, like generating the accurate difference between the branches can be inaccurate and it will create a lot of problems. Now, next is the generate the differences. So if you say git difference origin and the PR difference, this command creates a PR branch against the target branch. So when you are creating a new PR request, you will be selecting which is the target branch and which is the branch from which it needs to merge. And the resulting is all the differences are stored in this file called prdifference.txt. Basically, instead of sending the entire repository to the AI model, we are only sending the actual code modifications that were made. This reduces the token usage, lower API cost, and focuses the review on the relevant changes. Next, we need to build the prompt. So here the differences that were restored, we are opening that file and we are using the difference of around 3000, basically like get the latest 3000, and based on the model that you are using, you can increase the size or get all the changes. Since I'm using an Gemini free version, I'm limiting the changes to around 3000. Yeah. So next, basically, this is the prompt that you are using. You are an expert Python code reviewer. Review this PR difference and provide specific actionable feedback. Focus on bugs, missing, error handling, code quality, and best practices. And this is how your format output response should look like. And post it as a comment on the GitHub PR with two sections, basically issues found and suggestions. So it will highlight all the issues found and also provide the suggestions. Next, this is the API request that we are populating or creating, basically called Gemini API. This is the this is the API endpoint. We are using the Gemini 2.0 Flash, and you need to use the secret managers to get the Gemini API key. So, for example, in your GitHub repository, under settings, here if you scroll down on the left, there are secrets and variables, and under actions, you can create repository secrets, basically so that it is not exposed to the LLM model. So you can create a new repository success and add this. For example, if I'm using Gemini API key, paste the Gemini API key and add the secret. Next, error handling. Next step is the error handling. Basically, like if there are any error in data or any API failures, then if Gemini returns any error, the workflow exits gracefully instead of posting incorrect comments. Next, we are storing the output that was generated by the Gemini in this file called reviewOutput.txt. And the final part is basically like create comment on GitHub, where it will create a whatever the file content that is there that we are saving as a part of the review output.txt. It will create a comment with this body Gemini a code review and automated like end with automated review by Gemini and with all the issues found and the suggestions. So basically, the flow is if you see the developer either creates or updates the pull request, then the GitHub Actions manually triggers automatically. Repository is checked. All the differences is generated. The differences is sent to the Gemini for the code review. Gemini analyzes the code. Review feedback is generated. Review output basically. Review feedback is generated. Comment is posted on the PR. So this creates a fully automated AI powered code review pipeline that provides instant feedback before even another human reviews it. So now we have both our files ready, that is the calculator.py, and we also have the workflow established that needs to run when we create a pull request. So now let's commit the changes to our repository. Yeah. So for a first statement that you need to write is git status. So here you can see on the which branch you are, main branch, and these are the two files that we had added, one under the .github folder and one other is the calculator.py file. So next you need to add both these files, stage all these files. So the comment is git add space dot. Now if you again type git status, now you can see changes to be committed our PR review.yaml file and our the calculator.pr file. So now next we'll commit these changes, git commit -m added calculator later and workflow files. Yeah. So this is the commit statement. After you press enter, yeah, you can see two files change. Now you need to push all these changes, git push origin is the command. So once you click enter, all the changes will be pushed to our main branch. So now you can go to your repo. Now you can see there is we are under the main branch and we have two files available. One is the calculator.py and here is the under the GitHub folder, workflows folder, you have the PR review.yaml file. Yeah, so now we have all the changes available in the main branch. So now we'll create another branch and make some changes to the calculator.py so that we can create a pull request to merge it into the main branch. For doing that, for example, again, go back to the terminal. I'm just clearing the terminal. To create a new branch, the statement is git checkout -b. I'm just saying it as test branch. As you see, it is saying switched to a new branch called test branch. And here also, if you see, from main, it has changed to test branch. So now our new branch is created, basically called as test branch. And you can also see in which branch you are. For example, if you just type git branch, yeah, if you see here, our test branch is highlighted in green, which means we are currently in the test branch. So now we'll make some changes in this test branch. Just closing the terminal. For example, under the operations, I'm like not making any other change. Under the operations, I'm also giving an option called square. But I will not define it under the calculator or any other functions. So that it should raise an issue like the Gemini or any when we are doing a PR review, it should raise the issue and also the previous issues that I highlighted. Basically, when written when the value of b is 0, this function will fail, and we are not printing any other. We are not returning any issues. So all these issues should be highlighted. Apart along with the square one that is not defined. So I'll just push these changes to my test branch. So now again, same process, git add. You can check the status. This is the only file that we are changing. We are not making changes to the PR review or the YAML file. Next, git commit. I'm just saying added square functionality. And next, now we need to do git push origin along with a branch name, that is test branch. Basically, we are pushing the changes to our test branch. So here, if you see, it is completed. Now, when you go to git, and you can see like test branch has the recent pushes, and under the branches also you can see now the main branch, which is the default branch, and along with it the test branch. If you go to test branch, and if you, for example, if you open calculator.py, here you will be able to see we have this square operation added, the change that we made in the operations file. Yeah. So now we saw that we under the test branches the changes are reflecting. So now I'll go to the pull request, click on new pull request. Here the base will be the main branch where we are merging the changes into, and the compare will be a test branch. Yeah. So now you can see the changes that were made, like what changes were you make before creating the pull request. Once this is fine, click on create pull request, and you can add a description as well. Just say like added new functionality for calculating square values. Yeah. And next, click on create pull request. So if you see, once the moment the pull request gets created, the Gemini PR review pull request has already started. The workflow has already started. So here you can see currently it is failing because there is a high spike. So just let me rerun the jobs. Yeah, it is working right now. Here if you see, like it has been completed after 20 seconds. Now if you go back to your pull request, so here you can see now you can see like there is a comment that was added. So this is the Gemini AI code review. So basically these are the issues found, basically the missing square operation logic which we had added, but it gave the problem impact, and also it gave the input validations for the numbers, missing zero division error handling, unused misleading second operator, B for the square operation which was not there, right? And it also gives the suggestions as well. And it also gives please address the issues found as they represent potential caches or incorrect behavior. So if you see, using the help of an LLM, it is able to identify all the issues that are there, and along with it is giving the suggestions which you need to make. Once all the suggestions are implemented, you can click on merge pull request and all the changes will be merged into the main branch. So this is how you can automate the process of code reviewing for your pull requests. That's it for this video. Hope you learned something how to create an automated review system using LLM models. That's it from this video. Please do like, share, and subscribe, and follow Vyas Data Talks for more such technical breakdowns.